Hello everyone. Do you know that provisional assessment has got its own self-contained code or its own rule under the Customs Act? If you want to know more, stay tuned. My name is Viren Dayal. I'm a custom broker and a logistics skill council certified trainer.
For latest updates, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.
Today I'm going to discuss what is provisional assessment under the Customs Act and how it is to be done, and what are the other provisions which are covered when goods are provisionally assessed to duty. The word provisional assessment itself means that the goods are not finally assessed to duty. And the reasons, as I have told you in the beginning here, that provisional assessment is a self-contained code in the sense that there are four principal reasons when the provisional assessment can be done under the Customs Act. The first one being the importer or the exporter makes a request in writing to the proper officer that he or she are unable to do self-assessment under section 17, and request for a provisional assessment can be made to the proper officer. The second reason when provisional assessment is done, when the proper officer deems it necessary that certain goods need to be tested chemically or otherwise, and samples need to be drawn, the goods can be provisionally assessed. The third reason is that the importer or the exporter has given all the documents pertaining to assessment, but the proper officer feels he requires to do further inquiry, and only then he can finally assess the goods, and therefore provisional assessment is sought. And lastly, the proper officer feels that the importer exporter is unable to produce the required documents for the purpose of assessment under section 17, that is self-assessment, and therefore he decides to do provisional assessment. However, the prerogative is of the proper officer to decide whether or not to allow provisional assessment. In most cases, there is a dispute normally between the declared transaction value by the importer, who has self-assessed the duty on the goods, and the proper officer disputes the value declared, and let us presume wants to load the value, and therefore will seek a bond with a surety or security in most cases, binding the importer to pay the differential rate of duty upon final assessment. The bond and the provisional assessment conditions are explained in Board Circular number 19 of 2021, which can be read and seen for more details. Importantly, in the Finance Act of 2018, the government enacted regulations known as Finalization of Provisional Assessment Regulations 2018. These regulations are necessary, and now the onus is on the proper officer to complete the finalization upon the specified period of time which is given in the regulations. These regulations also mandate a penalty on the importer or exporter if they do not comply with the requirements within the specified time or extension, and the penalty amount fixed under these regulations is rupees 50,000. Upon finalization, let us presume in the case of imports, two scenarios will emerge. In case the finalization will increase the value of the goods and the consequent duty, the importer will be required to pay the extra amount. Let us presume the duty declared at the time of import under self-assessment was 10 lakh rupees, and the duty demanded was 15 lakhs. So the importer gave a bond of 5 lakhs along with the surety under the provisions and the board circular which I have mentioned a couple of minutes ago. Upon finalization, once 15 lakh rupee duty has to be paid, that means 5 lakhs more, the importer will be required to pay that duty along with interest under section 28AA, what is known as interest on delayed payment of duty on the 5 lakh rupees which is now being paid upon finalization. Let me share an example. If the bill of entry is provisionally assessed on 14th of August and finally assessed, let us presume, on 14th of October, 60 days. So the interest liability in this case, the provisionally first day of the month in which the bill of entry was provisionally assessed. Therefore, when the importer pays rupees 5 lakhs on the 14th of October, the interest liability will be from 1st of August till 14th of October. The rate of interest is 15% and is given under section 28AA. So this is the only section where the interest liability accrues on the delayed payment of duty from the first of the month in which the bill of entry was provisionally assessed. This was scenario number 1. In case of scenario number 2, where the finalization is done of the provisionally assessed bill of entry and the duty declared is deemed to be correct, that is 10 lakhs, then the importer is entitled to a refund of 5 lakhs, which he would have paid at the time of provisional assessment of the bill of entry. Interestingly, the law is different when it talks about refund of duty. In the example given, on the 14th of October, when the bill of entry is finalized, then the Customs Department is required to refund the 5 lakh rupees within a period of 90 days from the date on which the duty was finally assessed and adjusted. So from 14th October to say 14th January of the next year, if the importer does not receive 5 lakh rupees, then will be liable to an interest of 6% per annum from the 91st day till the date of payment of refund by customs to his account. However, in case of the refund of 5 lakhs, the provisions of section 27 that the incidence of duty has not been passed on to anyone else will need to be considered and adhered to while claiming a refund. So this was the concept of provisional assessment of duty and the underlying legal provisions.
For detailed learning of all logistics subjects, visit www.logiveda.com.